What a day. What a time to be alive. Anyway.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. It's the first of the year when this comes out.
Happy New Year. Woohoo.
Hope everybody
January 1.
was happy and healthy for New Year's Eve. What are you doing for New Year's Eve? Did we talk about this?
Going out to dinner and probably going to fall asleep before the ball even drops like I did last year.
Literally our plan too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was sleeping by like 10 p.m. last year. Ooh, yum.
Oh, yeah, same. January is a great month. It's my birthday month. We love it.
Yes, Veronica's birthday is a couple weeks away from the time that well, it's a couple weeks away now, but it's a couple weeks away from the time this episode comes out.
Gonna be closer
She's
to 30.
turning 30. I'm just kidding.
We should just keep that bit.
You know, if I have to do it, you have to do it.
Anyway, today we're going to be recapping some 2023 trends. We actually got this as a DM. Who was that that DM'd us?
It was my friend Allie. Shout out Allie.
Okay, yeah.
We used to bartend together at Dave & Buster's. All the alcoholic snow cones you could imagine.
We're also going to do a little like 2024 predicting.
Yes.
Some trends, pop culture and social media from both of us. We have a couple of fun things.
Yeah, so let's start with 2023. Before we do, though, follow us on Instagram at Socially Unfiltered Pod. So we saw some crazy trends this year. And you know what's funny is I was like looking at things to add to this list. And like I could have swore that this was the year that 0.5 photos and videos like really became a thing. But it was last year. Isn't that weird?
Honestly, yeah, Gabby's been doing it since last year when she came to visit me.
Yeah.
So I think that's true. Yeah.
It's
and
100%
like photo
true.
dumps. I think photo dumps started. I don't know if they started last year or this year.
It was 2022. We definitely saw more this year, but it was definitely 2022 because I was going to add both of those things to this list. And I was like, damn, that's crazy that it's been 2 years ago at this point, not this past year. But yeah, lots of weird trends for 2023. I know the main one to me is the tube girl effect. Like that's been the first one that I think of. It's the first thing that I think of for 2023 and not so much the like act of it, more so. I think a lot of people just became more okay with filming themselves in public and like not caring about their proximity to other people. It's like not a great thing. Like I don't really love it. But like, cause I think we're just like kind of starting to see people as background characters to us and not like real people that have lives and again, are functioning human beings. We're just kind of like out in the world bringing content creation into this like meta place almost. Like I don't love it. But then of course, like the tube girl trend itself was a huge thing.
I mean, it's so crazy to see how far she came with doing that. I mean, she ended up like going to fashion shows and like doing these huge brand deals all from just putting herself out there in the public eye. And then like brands and everyone started replicating that and doing it. And no one can do it as good as her. It's just like, it's crazy, but I also would never be able to do that in public.
No, the
like watching the
was like a little too much for me.
Like the videos where they're recording her doing it, I'm like, oh my God, with like all those people
secondhand embarrassment
around.
Immediately.
Yes, but I feel like that's such a good way to like, what's that word? I've seen a ton of people doing like these random things out in public where they either like do something weird or they're dancing or they're singing or they yell something random in a big public. It's like to get rid of your
it's like desensitizing yourself to embarrassment. Yeah.
Yes, I can never find the words. So yes, it's like I feel like we're becoming so much more desensitized to things going on around us. Like we see something and we're just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like it's not crazy anymore because you're just like, people be doing that.
The world we live in. Yeah. And again, I don't love that. Like I don't love that people are like not being concerned for other people's space and like their images ending up online.
But if it's like, not hurting them, then it's like if you're doing something that's harming people in public, like she's not doing like anything harmful. It's all in good fun. So I feel like it's not that she's not aware of people around her. Like, it's if she was like slapping them and shit, like I feel like it would be
well,
like,
yeah,
okay,
but like
this...
if I'm on the sub or like the train or the tube, I think it's called, and I'm like hungover and I look like shit and I'm forcing myself to go grocery shopping and I haven't put makeup on and I'm wearing like my worst outfit, like I'm gonna be pissed if she posts that of me and I'm like in the background like that. So that's more so what I mean.
But how
like,
many people are really paying attention to who's sitting in the background? They're really just focused on her. No, I'm not either.
No, I'm there for the show, not the background characters. But it's still just like weird to me how much it's kind of changed over the last year. Like I think a lot more people became, again, desensitized to just like going out in public and like setting up a tripod.
Right. Because now everyone wants to be a content creator, and we'll get into that too about social media. But I also think in 2023 there was, and I know we've talked about this too, about the like sad girl and hot mess aesthetic where everyone is trying to be like this character, and sadness and being like in fucking shambles and a mess is like cute and relatable. And I sometimes think that these creators kind of over exaggerate the things that they're doing because they're like, oh, this will be relatable. And I get it. Like, yeah, seeing your messy room and like you eating McDonald's after a night out. Yes, that is relatable to me. But sometimes like certain things are just gross. Like Alex Earl posted a video and it was of her birthday dress from last year that had throw up on it still hanging in her closet.
No.
Look,
Bubbles.
the bubbles are back.
Someone, oh my gosh, I can't remember who it is now. Somebody DM'd me and was like, I'm listening to your guys' episode where the screen animations keep popping up. And I guess like there's a new iPhone update or something that it does that on FaceTime. And she said that like
why?
her and her mom go back and forth with them. And I'm like, I have never seen it happen on FaceTime, but we just like don't know what triggers them on here.
No, because we're not pressing anything. Like our phones are propped up over there. So it's weird.
And it's not even like trigger words. Like it's not like there's a word that we're saying that makes it happen. We've tried like gestures.
So weird.
Like we don't know what makes it happen.
I didn't go like this to thumbs up. But oh my God. I don't know.
But anyway,
whatever, we'll just let them be.
It's
just gross. I'm like, that's not like,
I don't like it.
There's just some things that I'm like, that's just straight up gross. It's not you being a hot mess of like, oh my God, you're just hungover and getting takeout. Like hanging up your dress from last year with throw up on it in your closet. Like that's nasty. And I don't like that. Like it's not relatable to me.
No. And I kind of want to be not like sensitive in the way that we talk about this, but like depression is real. There are people with real depression rooms. There are people who literally struggle to get themselves out of bed, let alone keep their home or their bedroom clean. But when you're seeing, and I don't even remember what the girl's name is now, and it's not like I'm even saying
Madeline,
it's
I
like,
think.
Yes, it's the other girl on the Unwell Network. Her whole thing is like, I'm sad and I'm
pretty lonesome. Like that's her whole thing. Alone together with Madeline Argy or Argy. I don't really know. But her whole bit, like even her picture is like her like this. It's like a ton of these pictures where she's just like sad. And like maybe she is. I don't know. But I think I've seen multiple people say this where they're like, it's such a character. Like even this picture, it's just like pretty lonesome, and she's got her like alcohol and like a juice box, and it's just all like obviously so branded and curated, and
it's just not relatable because there are people who are genuinely depressed looking at that being like, well, I struggle so much because I don't have access to these resources, and like you do. But then again, that also kind of shows like, you know, just because you do have access to the resources doesn't necessarily mean that you'll use them. But again, I think with her specifically, it's a brand. And even like I told you when Alex Earl's podcast name came out, I was like, I'm over this. Like I'm over this hot mess thing. I'm over the unwell. Like why? It's not like I want to say that I don't think mental health should be talked about or explored or can be a part of your brand. But we talk about this all the time. You speak your shit into existence. So if you're sitting there saying like, I suck, like nobody likes me, I'm so sad, nothing goes right.
Yeah.
you're speaking that into existence. So like making that your brand is just like a crazy thing to immerse yourself in, to me.
Right. That's all that you are like fulfilling your life with. And you're like, I'm going to label myself the hot mess because that's what I am. Like you literally create your reality. So if you are going to constantly sit here and be like, oh, I'm pretty lonesome. I'm always alone. I'm always sad. I'm always like
Then you're
a
going to be
mess.
those
So,
things.
right. Like that's who you become. And I mean, maybe there's people that are relating to that. Clearly there is because they have that audience. But yeah, I think it's such a weird thing to brand yourself as, especially because the Unwell Network being under Alex Cooper, like her whole entire rebrand has been like being well and mental health and taking care of yourself. And it's been so different than what it was when like Unwell started that I'm actually surprised and it's confused. Right. It's just confusing to me. And the branding doesn't make sense when like your podcast and like all of you is so focused on being open about mental health and like providing those resources. She's done like the advertising with like BetterHelp and I don't know, like I get the opening the conversation about it. It's just to name your entire podcast network that and then have these two podcasts under it that are hot mess and sad girl aesthetic are just giving the opposite of what your branding is. So I don't know. I love her. I'm just like confused about the brand and how it's making sense, you know?
Well, you know what's really sad to me about that too is when you said like clearly there's people that are attracted to that, like clearly they have these audiences. I would bet, I don't know this for sure, but I would guarantee if you went into their analytics of like their audiences as a whole, that it's primarily younger girls.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of girls, like young girls specifically, see them as like, well, I want my college experience to be like that. I want it to be crazy. I want to go out and drink every night. And like, I think from our perspective, being a little bit older than that, like, yeah, we had a great time, like lived it up. But now that we're away from that phase, it's easy for us to look at it and be like,
right,
that's going to get old real quick. Whereas I think a majority of their audience is a younger generation. And I think that's sad and scary that like, those are some of the people that they're looking up to. Cause I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself. Like I know early on in our episodes, I talked a lot about Alex Earl, and it's not like I was ever this die-hard fan of her. It's more so that I have to give her credit where credit is due. Like she's good at what she does.
Yeah.
I also like to call a spade, and money will make you good at certain things. And she had money before she got TikTok famous. So it's not, she knows marketing, and that's, it just is what it is. It's just sad to me, the demographic that I think is hanging on to this image of what they think they want to be. It's just sad that it's this like hot mess, like sad girl era.
Yeah. It's like glamorizing that messy, sad, depressed.
Because she makes it look fun.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And like for a time it can be. Like, don't get me wrong, I had my hot mess era, but like,
yeah, we were all like that. In high school, college, you learn, and I'm sure that people that watch her now will see that too. And it's hard to see that when you're that age and you're like trying to figure out your life and trying to have fun, and like maybe you're trying to be a content creator like that too. It's just so hard when you can't be your own person and you're only basing your life decisions off of what you see someone else doing on social media or like talking about. So yeah, just I think that's like a trend that needs to die. Like
needs to go.
And it's not saying that you ever have to not talk about being sad or depressed or like mental health. Like you can talk about that. It's just don't revolve your entire brand around being like staying that way, you know?
Yeah, because there's a lot about mental health that isn't a choice, but there are some parts that are a choice. And if you're choosing to wake up every day and post on your Instagram about you crying because something bad, quote unquote, happened to you, when a lot of that is preventable, like it's just, I don't know, a weird mindset to live in my opinion.
We always talk about that, even like posting about that, even like speaking about it constantly, you're allowing that into your space and being like how bad everything is, how sad you are, how nothing works out for you, like it's always one thing after the other, and like everyone is a human and like they say those things, we say those things, we get negative sometimes, but just be so careful about the words you're saying and what you're posting, because the more you're posting about it, the more that's going to become your reality even more than it already is. So yeah, the words you choose and who you choose to watch is huge for 2024, I think, going into that. But I also put on here a trend I've seen a lot, and I don't know if you've seen this too, but a lot of like small businesses or even businesses in general, I've seen these posts where people are like, I'm going out of business this month if I don't get X amount of orders, or like,
can't.
Dude, and like I have two sides to this.
Oh my God.
It's so frustrating to see like you're begging people to keep you in business on social media. And I think that while yes, like maybe you will see a surge in your sales like that month, but after that, they're probably going to dip and you will go out of business. And there's like probably reasoning behind why it's not working. And like, it is nobody's responsibility to keep you in business. Like, I truly think it's your responsibility as a business owner, and it's not on everyone else to like keep you going on social media. Like, it's just such a weird tactic to me because I see so many people doing it now. So many people are doing it and they're like, keep me in business, or like, I need 10 more orders this year. It's guilt tactics, and I don't like it, even if it has like a better outcome in the end, even if it is like meaningful or ethical, like they're just trying to get help. Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I think it's skeezy like marketing tactics, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll just rip the Band-Aid off and say my immediate thought on this. Not everybody deserves to have a successful business. And I'm not sorry. Like, and not
everyone will.
It's a curse.
You could deserve it, and like, it won't.
Yes. Okay, better way of saying that. Yes, not everything will be successful, but I've said this with content too, and I don't remember if I've ever said it on here, but just because you're creating content doesn't mean that you're deserving of followers and engagement and comments. Like, if you're half-assing your content, you're gonna get half-assed results. And just because you're putting the time and energy and effort into it doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything back from that. And that's how I feel about people with some of their businesses. And again, I know that's like, I feel like very harsh to say, and I'm sorry a little bit if you do take a little offense to that, but in general, I'm not sorry, because there are some people that are just like, their main goal is money. Their main goal is to make money, and that cannot be your main goal in your business. Like, you have to be passionate about it. So just because you are putting in the effort to build this business, if your heart isn't in it, and if you don't have an actual product that solves a problem for people, it might not be successful. And I'm sorry to say that, but
I agree.
It makes zero sense.
And it's just like, that post isn't gonna keep you in business. Like, it might for that month, but there's a reason why. And there might not be a reason why it's failing. It might just be either like too niche, or you only have one product that might not be relevant to everyone. Like, sometimes you do have to reflect on your product or service and be like, is this actually going to help people? Or is it just, say like it's pins, right? Like, how often are people buying pins? Like, it could be like that, where it's just not, there's no like need for it.
Huge
like,
demand.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not a big demand. It's not life-altering or life-saving. Like, maybe they don't actually need that in their day-to-day life. So it also, I think, boils down to what the product and service is, because not everybody needs a pin. Not everybody needs that homemade candle. Like, they might want it, maybe, like, but
I see a new sticker shop pop up every day. How many fucking stickers do people need?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I love stickers, but like, that's
it's
where
just
the
hard.
conversation kind of comes in. Like, is it niche? Like, are you creating just like, in general, you're finding these designs on Etsy and just buying them and then reselling them as stickers? Like, what does that matter? No, create something that is your artwork, your genuine contribution to this world. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds so dramatic with stickers, but like, I could literally start an Etsy print-on-demand shop right now of stickers if I wanted to in 10 minutes.
And it's hard when like, if it's like a really cheap product or service too, or if it's too expensive. I think that's hard too. But this all goes into like your business plans and like creating the product and service in the first place. So yeah, I just think, don't beg people to keep your business alive. Like, do something about it. Or
it's weird. Yeah.
Spade a spade. It might not work out.
Well, what I can say is I've never seen one of those videos and gone and purchased something because I felt bad.
Me either. Sorry.
It's just like if you are struggling, there are other things you can do than to like blast that on the internet in hopes that somebody will feel bad for you. It's weird.
Agreed.
But yeah, so 2023, wild time of lots of weird things.
There's many more things, but we don't got the time for that.
Yes. Yeah, considering we're very far into the episode right now and haven't made it to any of our 2024 stuff. So
let's not go too in depth about our predictions.
These are just some of our predictions, some things that we hope to see, maybe some things that we have already been seeing and hope to see continue into 2024. Do you want to start? We'll both do social media ones and then finish with pop culture.
Yeah, because I have one bouncing off of your first one for social media. So yeah.
Okay. So one of the first things that I put on here, and this was directly inspired by an email that I got from this company the other day, and I meant to screenshot it. I didn't. I tried to go back, so I'm going to paraphrase it. But if anybody else is on their email list, you know what email I'm talking about. So I have become such an Elf girl. Like, I love Elf. I have always loved Elf, but this last year they have done something. So Elf has really leaned into becoming this dupe company. Like, they want to be known as the dupes. They do have a lot of products that are very true to them, like original to them. But I think where they have really leaned into and what they've really started to focus on the last few months specifically is being known for their dupes. It is a little bit of copying your competitors, but they are filling the gap of affordability, and it is what it is. There's going to be products that copy yours, but there was an email that went out and it was about their lip oils. And I am literally obsessed with these Elf lip oils. I have one Dior one. I was saving it for special occasions, literally was so scared to ever use it. Like, it just sits in a drawer in my room because I don't want to use it. They came out with this dupe. And I was like, let me get one of every color because they are 1/10 of the price. And now I'm more inclined to use it. I use one literally every day because I don't feel bad about using a $60 lip gloss. But they
how
sent
would
out,
someone know if it's
and literally nobody knows
or Elf gloss you're wearing.
Nobody knows. And that's something that I've kind of like really gathered about makeup over the last few years is, yes, there are good and bad products, but it really comes down to if you know how to use the product. Like, yes, there are better things than others. But anyway, back to Elf. So they sent out this email the other day, and it was like them showcasing like a bunch of their new products, and like they put out the Rare Beauty blush dupe. But at the bottom of the email, it had like all of their lip oils, and it was like, I wish I saved the email and I didn't, but it blatantly said, why would you spend 10 times the price on the same product? Like, implying that they know they are literally a dupe of the Dior lip oils. They are fully leaning into it. I mean, look at I don't know if you saw this, they put out a lip kit a couple months ago and it's literally called Dirty Pillow. Like, that is a direct dupe of Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury.
They're
like,
teetering that line.
That one was, and it's like a collab with Jennifer Coolidge. It's actually like really good, but I just love that they're embracing that because, again, like, I have so much expensive makeup, so much, and it literally sits in a drawer because I like save it for special occasions and then it expires after being open for 6 months. With a cheaper version, and there's nothing wrong with preferring the expensive stuff ever. And we just talked about this the other day. I'm just like not an expensive thing kind of person, but you feel less bad about using these things consistently because you know it's not like a quarter of your paycheck that you're dropping into it. It's $8 compared to $80. So I just hope that more brands lean into that, like fully embracing what their audience sees them as, is where I was going with that.
Yeah. And going off of that same thing, like Steve Madden does the exact same thing. And he has for years, and he has so many lawsuits and doesn't give a fuck. Like, there are dupes of every designer shoe, Louis Vuitton, like Dior. I don't even know if Dior does shoes. I don't know. I'm not an expensive like thing person either. I don't even have a designer bag. I don't have designer shoes. I don't have any of that
either.
But like, I just know like whatever name brand you can think of that's like really expensive, like he has made dupes of. And even like the Sophia Richie flats that they made, like Chanel made, he was like, oh, Sophia Richie, okay, here we go. So did the exact same flat as her, and he doesn't give a fuck, and it's good quality. Like, I fucking love Steve Madden shoes.
I have so many Steve Madden shoes.
And it's for like, again, a tenth of the price, and he has so many lawsuits because he's copied so many people, but like, he's just literally thriving,
living his
and
life.
again, yes, you don't want to copy all your competitors, but that is the same thing. That gap in the market where people can't afford that luxury shoe for maybe that one event in their life, or like for just one season, so they're gonna go and buy it on Steve Madden. Like,
Yes.
it's just, I don't know. I think he's successful. I mean, he did go to jail for like 2 years, and I don't know if it was because of that, but yeah, but same thing with Steve Madden. And I think like cost is a huge gap for a lot of brands where they want to make it like more affordable. Even like Skims, I think, is like affordable compared to a lot of like shapewear. Like, I think her shapewear I bought was like $34, and I was honestly expecting it to be a lot higher than that. But I'm sure there's brands that like Amazon that copy the Skims and like the Lululemons. So that's why I think all these like influencers, like Amazon influencers, are blowing up, and people aren't buying those luxury designer things anymore from them. Like, people want to see the Amazons and like the small business, and like thrifting is huge now too. So
Well, that kind of goes into one of the other ones that you had on here is like de-influencing as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it's going, I've been saying this since the beginning of this year, actually, that I think influencing as a whole is going to start declining. But I love this kick that we're on now, where you're still being influenced. Like, it's still an influence on your choice.
Just more organic.
Yes, it's more organic. It's people talking you out of these things that you don't need. Like, do I need to go buy a 30-piece clear glass jar set for my pantry to organize it like Khloe Kardashian? Like, no. Things still function without that. It's more so for the aesthetic. And that's what I've kind of like loved seeing about influencing as a whole kind of take a turn.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more smaller creators, and it's not going to be about like the followers anymore and how big your account is, because it's not relatable anymore. But I think there's still going to be people that follow those influencers. As much as we want to say de-influencing is going to be a thing, like there's still those big influencers that people will continue to follow, continue to support. So I don't really believe it 100% that we're going to enter this like de-influencing era, because people are always going to want to see what everyone is doing, and like they want to see that big trip that you went on with this brand, and like maybe they're not buying from you, but they are watching and they're contributing to you making money off of those views, because they're just going to keep watching and like, I don't know, either live in that moment or like wish that was them, or there's just like a feeling that you get from watching that content. So I think I think brands will be more inclined to work with smaller creators, but I think people will still follow like big creators, if that makes sense. But it's just so funny now. I think everyone's trying to be like a creator and influencer, and they're in it for like the wrong reasons at this point, where it's not just like, I'm trying to just put myself out there and be creative and have this like fun little side gig going where I'm just putting out like good content and trying to help people. It's all about, oh, I saw that person made that much money, I can make that much money doing this. And then it's so inauthentic, and people are catching on to it. So I think, agree, it's just going to be more like organic and less in your face marketing, for sure.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people this year caught on to the whole, it's, how do I want to word this without sounding like a huge bitch? So many people just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to be an influencer today. And that is not how it works. And I think a lot of people are starting to catch on to that a lot of, people are just deciding that. And that's not how you create that organic influence. And, I've said this before with us, like, I don't look at myself as an influencer, and I don't look at myself as an aspiring influencer, because I don't really want to influence anybody. All I can do is post what I post and hope that it helps somebody in one way or the other. But, I might post like
I just like it.
Yeah. Like, I just like this, so I'm going to post it because I like it. But you naturally obtain this influence over time of you putting your genuine personality out there, and that's what people become connected to. Not so much, oh, I just woke up one day and made an Amazon storefront. Like, who are you influencing? Because you don't have an audience to influence. So it's just, I think a lot of people are catching on to that. And another one that I had on here too was I think more people are catching on, and I'm hoping most creators lean away from the whole like 10K overnight thing. Like, I do think we're kind of starting to see more people catch on that that's unrealistic. It's literally just a marketing tactic. Yeah, it's not something that you should base a decision on working somebody with. And I feel, and this might just be from the people that I follow, like I might have just unfollowed all the people that I don't want to see this content from anymore, but I feel like there's been a decline of people kind of using that marketing tactic. I feel like more people are leaning away from it, but also the consumers are starting to acknowledge a lot of this is unrealistic.
Yeah, I think more people are leaning away from like the instant gratification. And even like back to the shopping, like I was just talking to my friend about this, and she's on YouTube, and she's like, we're not meant to like be pushed out this product. We're supposed to like sit on something for a while before we buy it, instead of like, oh, I want it, like I'm going to get it. It's not normal, the fact that we can get something in a matter of 2 days shipping.
No,
or like next day shipping.
absurd.
Like, and we instantly have that gratification, and we don't even think about the things that we want. And like, I know that's something for the new year I want to do a little bit better, is like sit on something and be like, if I can't stop thinking about it, then I actually need it. But it's such a bad habit to get into, of like, oh, I want this, oh, I want that, oh, I want that, and then you're like, oh my god, my credit card bill. Or like, you just it's so irresponsible. And I think these influencers and creators, even organically, they push it out, and it's so sneaky that you don't even realize you're being sold to, but you constantly are. It's crazy. So just be careful in 2024, because I think the new trend will be very, very organic, sly, sneaky selling, even when you don't think they are. If anyone like has watched Jeffree Star's reviews of products, like he has always been real with his reviews and 100% honest and not paid for them. So I think that type of content is going to come back, and whether that's him doing it or other people doing it, I think that type of marketing is going to make a comeback, of where it's very honest and you're not being paid or sent the product, or even if you are, like, you know, he's going to give it to you real. But that is so hard to establish, that trust. Like with Michaela, that lash thing that she did, like, yeah, you got your bag and you made a ton of money, but you know how many followers and trust you lost over that? So like, I don't think it's going to be worth it for a lot of influencers to do that, because they're going to lose so much trust. And even brands, like if they're pushing out this product, or they're having these influencers review their products that don't actually use it.
I don't really follow a lot of like quote influencers who are like constantly pushing stuff. And like, I don't love that people are paid for reviews in general, because then how do you know what to trust? And you're breaking that with your audience. And Michaela just got caught doing it again for, I think it was the brand Essence, where somebody went back and found her old videos where she was reviewing these products and was like, I don't love these, like they're not my favorite, look at how bad this is, blah blah blah. Compared it with a video that she did for a partnership with them, and it's her talking about how they're her favorite products in the world.
Nothing like, escapes the internet. Like, come on. My last one is, I think storytelling will just continue to be key in your content, and everyone should be leveraging that and using it to their advantage. And I think people that aren't going to, the ones that are just going to be pushing just their products and their services and that don't use storytelling, aren't going to make it. They're those same people begging people to keep them in business on social media. So I think storytelling will still continue to be a huge part of businesses and brand, like personal brand strategies.
Yes, agreed. I think storytelling is here because, I had the other one on here about TikTok too, that they introduced 30-minute videos. And people are like, oh my God, like that's so long. What do we do with a 30-minute video? And it's like, but if you think back a few years ago when they introduced 1-minute videos and 2-minute videos and 5-minute videos, people were like freaking out, losing their mind. So it's like, we're just going to get used to it eventually. But where you're going to see people start to use that is with those people who are open to sharing more about their lives and sharing more about their story and have the storytelling aspects in their content that just takes a 30-minute video to get across. So I think we'll definitely see it start to catch on for certain creators who are good about utilizing that storytelling. But yeah, I definitely think storytelling is here to stay, at least for now. Never know what will happen, but I think it's here to stay. And I'm hoping to see more of it from people in the new year.
Yeah, I mean, look at who's TikTok's biggest competitor is YouTube, long form content. Like they want to introduce a 30-minute video so people aren't going to YouTube for that long form content. So smart on their part, honestly.
Speaking of TikTok, should we move more into pop culture and what we think is going to happen? Some of our celebrity predictions.
Yes.
I think Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are either going to get engaged, or I think they're going to announce that they're already married.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And that they have been married for a while.
I
think one of those two things.
I also think
Or they're like doing the thing where the engagement announcement is actually like when they got married, and then like when they get married is actually when they find out when they're pregnant, and then when they announce they're pregnant. Do you know what I mean? The baby's actually born. Like I feel like they're always like going to be a step behind with announcing
with
things,
her.
but
Like there's gonna be so many Easter eggs. Like you already know with her. Like there's gonna be so many little secrets, so many little Easter eggs. But yeah, I also think that.
yeah.
I think that Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber will either have a baby or they're going to divorce. It's going to be one or the other. I'm not really sure. It could go either way.
I agree with both of those.
Either one, they could have a baby. They could.
I think it could be either one too.
But I also am like, I don't know, because I think she wants to build this brand so much bigger than it is that I don't know if she would give that up for a baby yet. But
I feel like she would if she knew that it meant she was locked to him for the rest of her life.
yeah, but it's been like 5 years. Why isn't she done it yet?
Because that 5-year visa wasn't up yet. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I agree, though. I think one of the two, for sure. Yeah. I think I'm leaning more towards a baby, but I'd be happy with either.
And on the opposite end,
for them, happy for them.
I don't really know how to feel about Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez, but in a weird way, I feel like she'll be with him for a long time.
I think they're gonna get engaged.
Yeah, I think this is her like final just
moment.
because of what everyone's saying, how everyone's being negative. I think she's gonna prove people wrong, but
yes,
who knows?
I do too, to like prove a point. Yeah, I agree with that. I saw some stuff about that in my like research to see like what we'd talk about today. I was like, wow, like a lot of people think that her and Benny Blanco are like gonna get married or get engaged or something. And I was like, I can get on board with that. Like,
come out with some bangers,
because exactly like you said, like just trying to prove that point. I don't know. I'll never get over Benny Blanco being weird.
Me
like
fucking either, man.
I don't know if I'll ever see him as not being weird.
Same. He's like a food like
Dave ruined him for
person
me.
now. I don't even know. Like he collaborates with all these like
so
food
weird.
people, and I'm like, what's this for?
I'm like, I thought you made music.
Right.
Like,
I'm very
okay, what's happening?
I don't know.
Not that you can't be like multi-passionate. It's just weird. One of my other ones is I think Elon Musk is going to give up on X. Like I think this year we will see the downfall of X, or I think he'll either sell it to somebody who will turn it back into Twitter, or I think he'll just get rid of it altogether. But I think for sure we're going to see some shit happen with Elon Musk and X this year. One can hope. I'm over that platform, but to each their own.
Yeah, I haven't been on that in years. So I think that Matt Rife will either lose all the hype or he's going to make like a huge comeback. But it's literally one or the other for me. Like, I'm not really sure. Right now, I think he's full on getting canceled. But like we said, people always forget shit.
People move on.
Yes,
yeah.
They move on very quickly. Right now, it's the hot topic. But then, I mean, he's still on tour. He's adding tour dates at this point. So clearly,
he just added like 8 more.
Maybe new people are resonating with what he's doing. Maybe he is attracting that new target audience that he wants. So he's adding more tour dates. So I don't know. I think that he could definitely make a big comeback, or he just loses it all. Who knows?
Only other thing I had on here was because of a weird revelation that I had the other night, because I was unpacking some of our stuff in the garage and found our record player. And Ethan has a bunch of like records and stuff. And I was sitting there looking at it and I was like, we make cycles in fashion. We make cycles in makeup trends. Like everything comes back around. And I was like, when is the record phase? Not that I ever think it'll really be over, but I want this year to be the year that CDs and like Walkman CD players come back. Because we had this kick with records and record players, and now I want it to be CDs and Walkmans. So if that happens this year, you heard it first. I want it to happen. I used to love CDs and Walkmans and burning CDs. My car doesn't even have a CD player anymore.
I know. That makes me so sad because I'm remembering my first RAV and I would put the Justin Bieber Christmas album in every Christmas into the CD. And I'm like, oh, I miss that. And like doing karaoke downstairs. But my mom and her fiance have a vinyl like record player, but like obviously they're older. But yeah, those definitely made a comeback. I saw a lot of people using those, and like digital cameras made a comeback.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Everyone's doing the digital camera thing now. Everyone's wearing low-waisted jeans.
I just found mine the other day and I was like, it's just so fun. I'm like, I've had this sitting in a drawer for like 5 years and I bought it so many years ago and I was like, why would I ever buy this? Like, it's a shitty little digital camera like I used in college. And now I'm like, well, if I ever want to participate in the digital camera trend, like have one laying around. But we just see that cycle in so many things, like products or like fashion coming back around that I think eventually CDs and Walkmans will make
I would love that
their appearance back. I would too.
Well, that was good. So let us know your weird 2023 trends, what you're predicting for 2024, pop culture or social media. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. DM us.
And we love you so much.
Love you.
We hope you are feeling great going into the new year. Love you so much.
Bye.
Bye.